This is a very traditional business. You make mithai, right? But this is technology enabled business. I mean, I visited the factory, completely blown away with the level of automation that you've got there. The kind of things that have been thought and put into detail are just mind blowing, right? And so, would love to hear uh, the pre and the post situation of digital transformation, and where do you stand today, right, in terms of your business. So if any you could give any examples, that would be great.
So both things run hand in hand. I don't think so. They are mutually exclusive as a activity. So if you're doing digital businesses, and so we are in an age where you cannot be dependent on one channel for sale, and that is what we engineered without knowing this very well at that time, because we were having an idea that something like this could exist, something like this could exist. Let's try to put one foot into that door, one foot into that door. Eventually now it's shaping up well. But if you look at us today, Chitale Bandhu does sale in its own stores in Pune, which are 25. It has Chitale Express stores, which are 40, which are spread across Maharashtra and Goa. They will be 100 by the end of next year. We have our distribution channel, which is spread across 9 states. We are exporting to every continent that is habited. So we did export once to Antarctica, but that's just once, because we have India has a research center there. So that way there are, and along with that we have the fifth and the fastest growing channel, which is the digital or e-commerce channel, where be it our own websites or the logistics services like Flipkart or Zomato, or the e-commerce places like Amazon or Flipkart. All of these places are contributing to your sale, and naturally as a brand we have to be omni-channel in terms of our approach. But when we go omni-channel, the big challenge is that I don't have the visibility of my customer that I have in my stores, because I don't know who's buying my product. I know who's facilitating that trade because of my AI or digital transformation and last mile connectivity. But how do I get my consumer on board when I don't know who the consumer is? Is where the need for digital transformation was felt, and where we moved to a point where right from the point where any liter of milk that will come into our plant, to a point where any kg of product that is sold to our customer anywhere, we have an end-to-end traceability that's been built. So this traceability could be built because we invested heavily onto digital data logging and managing, which eventually became Industry 4.0, which that was not what was known about a decade and a half ago.
Correct.
And that's just materialized. So we are also progressing with technology, but it's sometimes like Columbus was trying to find America. So we still haven't found America.
Invisible.
We are trying to be there, but it's a lot of mist. And that's the thing with technology. So when I was in college, we were being taught what 3G was going to be, because 4G was not in picture, and the world used to work on BlackBerry and 2G phones. So when I went to fourth year, when I was being taught 3G actually came. But in 3 years later, 4G was there, and engineering kids were learning for 3G only at that time.
Right.
So now 4G to 5G leap has been less than 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So we are squeezing the gap between next generation of technology, and that way all of this is leading to a very fast adoption of digital technologies, which help making business streamline better, manufacture better, and also reach consumers in a better manner. And while doing that, we still don't know what is the end point of it. It is an exploratory activity which has to be ingrained as an activity, or a mode of working in a business. So you can be selling mithai, or you can be selling shoes, or you can be selling services. If you are not digitally enabled, you are not going to be sustaining in the world that's coming tomorrow. And the big thing about this is that since we don't know who the consumer is, how do we reach the consumer and make them have the affinity towards the brand? And that is where the marketing plays an important role. So marketing can be at multiple fronts, right? So it can be about communicating what the brand stands for. It can be communicating how the packaging works. It can be communicating about what the brand does beyond the brand of making money. It can be about communicating the values and the people who work for the organization. And it can be communicating about the technology that the brand is trying to build. So all of this needs to reach the consumer in a manner which that translates into building brand equity. And then brand equity can now be translated or measured into any of these omni-channel formats that I mentioned before. So that's why if we are not having a uniform look and feel, if we are not having a uniform way of communication, if we are not having a uniform way of approaching our consumers, if we are not having a uniform way of dealing with our consumers who have a problem or a feedback or a suggestion for us, and all of that being having that integrity of being the same on every platform is something that our marketing has to ensure. So marketing and branding go hand in hand, and here is where you communicate the brand value through these channels, and that's where social media I think plays a huge role, and we try to leverage that as well.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching this podcast. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe right now. You'll find a whole lot of videos. Most importantly, if you like this particular video, the whole video, which is a long one, you can grab that too. Check it out now.